Mm, okay. Okay. Can you guys see the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, buddy.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, let's get started. Okay, so today we're just gonna go through basics. So we'll start off with the game. Okay. So we're gonna do guess the output. Let's start with the first round. What do you think this code does over here? What do you think it's gonna output out?
Hello world.
Hello world. Yeah, this is pretty basic. You've probably seen this in a lot of like intro classes and stuff like that. So yeah, it's gonna print out hello world, and it's gonna print it to. Do you guys know where? Do you know what it's called? Where is it
The
gonna?
terminal.
Not terminal. It's gonna print it to
Monitor.
the console.
Wait.
Yeah. Okay. So now this is for round two. Okay. What do you think this code is gonna be doing?
Stop. Record the meeting first.
I did.
The sum of 5 plus 3.
Yeah. And what's that?
8.
8. Yeah.
8.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Do you guys know why it didn't just print the word instead? Like, for example, why didn't it print 5 plus 3 instead? Does anyone know why?
There's
Okay,
no
what's that?
quotation marks.
There's no quotation marks, right? So it's treating it as an integer value. Okay, cool. All right. Now for round three. What is this going to print here?
It's gonna print hi Sam.
Hi.
Yep, yep. So that's good. All right, cool, cool. So this was pretty easy. All right, let's just go on to what is programming, right? So programming is writing a set of precise instructions, right? And we'll tell the computer what to do step by step, right? It's basically like, let's say we're making a sandwich, right? And you're telling someone that's never made a sandwich before how to make it. So what would be like some of the steps you would say? Let's say you first say use your hands to open the drawer, and inside of the drawer locate the sandwich, the bread, right? Then you'll tell the computer use your right hand to pick up the bread from the middle section, and then you would move that bread onto a plate after exiting the pantry. So you have to be very, very specific in programming. So programming is essentially just a bunch of steps you're telling the computer to do a task, right? Um, that's how it works. So basically, like a recipe. So what is Python, right? Python is a programming language, and it was first created in 1991. So it is actually relatively new compared to other programming language. And fun fact, it's named after comedy, not snakes. It was actually named after the Monty Python's Flying Circus. And it's known for being really readable. It reads almost like plain English, so it's really good for beginners. Okay. So Python is used in a lot of, different ways. So a lot of it, you can use it for web apps, you can use it for AI and data science, automation, game science, and math, and just for fun as well. So if you took my AI machine learning course before, we used a lot of Python to do a lot of the algorithms, making the models and different things like that. So that was what Python is used for. Nowadays, you see Python used a lot for machine learning specifically. So a lot of people now are shifting towards Python. Before it was like really Java heavy. I feel like now everyone's shifting towards Python because it has a lot of like libraries accessible through it, like TensorFlow and stuff like that for data science and AI. So yeah, you can use web apps too. So Flask, if you guys don't know what Flask is, it's basically you have your HTML, CSS, JavaScript files on the front end, but Python is basically handling all the data and everything on the back end. So that's what Flask is. It's actually really good for web apps. I use it a lot for web apps, so that's a really good language to learn, or it's more like a framework than a language. But yeah, okay. So we're gonna be writing our first line. So if you guys don't have Python installed, you can install it, but we'll actually set up Python in a different class. Today, if you guys just search up W3 Schools Python and just go in here and click try it yourself, you're able to get your own terminal for free and you can run it on the computer itself on your web browser. So I'm gonna just put this link in the chat for you guys. Let's see. Yes. Okay, yeah. So yeah, you can use that link to write your own program. And the first thing we're going to be doing is running this simple program right here. We're just going to run print hello world, or you can print anything you guys want. So I'll give you guys a couple minutes to just play around with print, see what you can come up with, and yeah, explore a little bit on that. I'll give you guys maybe 2 minutes for that. Shouldn't take too long. Okay, has everyone ran their script or tried it out?
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Did you guys run
Yes,
anything
sir.
else or just hello
Yes.
world? So did
Yeah.
everyone? Oh, okay. Nice. Did everyone run hello world or did you guys write anything else?
I tried to put a variable and then like put a value for that, and then
Nice.
I tried to print that.
Okay, cool. All right, great. Yeah, that was just a basic exercise that we started off with. Let me go back to sharing. All right, great. All right. So that's good. In Python, indentation matters. So what does that mean? Right? So Python doesn't use like if you guys done other programming language and stuff like that, you would know that it uses let me use an example in Java, for example. If x equals to 3, right? And in Java, you can continue like this. This is how you would write this in Java, right? You would have these brackets here to indicate that this code is inside, like this is inside of this code over here. So that's how it would look in Java, but Python's a little bit different. So in Python, the same line would look like this instead. return true. So in this case, there's a couple of differences we can notice. First of all, we don't need the uh, these parentheses over here. We don't need those. Second of all, after it, how it indicates like something is inside of something is using this colon over here, and you have to use an indent. So if you have multiple lines that you have to have inside, let's say I'm setting another variable and then doing print y or something like this, everything inside of here will only execute when x is equal to 3. So that's how you show something's inside of it. In Java, for example, it'd be something else. You would write it something like this. System dot out dot print ln y. So that's how it would look in Java. So there's a couple of differences here. We'll get more into it. But the main thing that I want you guys to focus here now is the indentation difference. Does that make sense? Okay, great. Okay. All right. So the next thing is case sensitive. So Python is very picky about capitalization, right? It's gonna view print with a lowercase p differently and print with an uppercase p differently. Of course, there's no such thing as uppercase print like this unless you create, a method or something like that. We'll get more into that in future classes, but yeah, it does matter. So, for example, x equals 3 and x equals 3 are different. They're not the same variable. They're going to be different. So when you do, let's do 4 for now. If I do x is equal to x, it's not going to be the same thing. They're going to be different. It's not the same variable. So it's case sensitive. And lines are read in order. So it's read one at a time. So it's going to read from top to bottom one at a time. Okay, so those are just some foundational stuff to understand how Python works. Okay, now we're going to get into variables. So anyone know what a variable is? Did someone raise their hand?
No.
Okay. All right, cool. Basically, variable is yeah. Go ahead.
I don't know.
Okay, no worries. So basically, variables are for storing information, right? So let me give an example. Let me make something here. So let's think of a cookie jar, right? And let's say this cookie jar right now is just empty. And let's call this cookie jar X. So this is the name of the cookie jar. Right now, since there's nothing inside of the cookie jar, we can say X is equal to 0. But let's say we put one cookie in there, right? Now X is going to be equal to 1. So now when we reference the cookie jar in the code, it's not going to look at the cookie jar. If I say print X, print X, it's not going to print the word X. Instead, it's going to print what's inside of the cookie jar, and which is going to be just 1, right? So basically, variables are a container to hold information. So you don't have to reference that container multiple times. If I have the same cookie jar, I don't need to create more cookie jars. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Does anyone have any questions about this? Yeah, go ahead, Vaibhav.
Oh, that was from the last question.
Oh, okay.
I don't have
Yeah,
the
do you want to
question
explain it now?
part.
If you want, you can go.
I forgot what the question was.
Oh, I just asked what was a variable.
Oh yeah, I was gonna call it like a label.
Yeah, basically the same thing, right? Just something containing some information, right? Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I
Great. All right, so in this example here, right, I'm creating three variables. One is containing a a word, right? And this word is my name. Next is age and is student. And these are different types of information stored. I'll go more into what these types are. But for now, the first type is called string, the second is integer, and the third is going to be a boolean, right? So when I say print name, it's going to print this output here. When I say print age, it's going to print 17 here, right? All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to practice what we just learned. So we're going to practice by making our own variable with your own name and print a greeting with it. So remember how we used plus signs before? We can use name plus, age. You guys can use that and do some type of greeting before it. So write a greeting and do this. Okay? So we'll start off with this. Once you guys are done, I'll give you guys maybe 2 minutes again for this. And yeah.
Now is the time to buy an artfully designed home by Ashton Woods. Our thoughtfully crafted homes look like this and feel like this, all at a price you won't believe. Discover why Ashton Woods is the heart of design.
Another day in the finance. Jamaica. It's this already. 6040 meals and entertainment. Receipts, expense reports, invoices, purchase orders. Just that. Cards with built-in policies. Expenses that submit themselves. Look at it go. It's okay. What does a code automatic? Okay. We're fixing the parts of finance all at once. You hate Ram. Come and see for yourself. Finance.
Could you please submit your accounts today?
You could keep reminding your coworkers to submit their expenses.
9 and the underscore, so you can't use anything else other than those. Variable names are case sensitive, like I mentioned before, and a variable name cannot be any of the Python keywords. So there's a couple of keywords in Python like self
Okay.
and different things like that. It can't be those keywords, but everything else should be open. Okay. All right. Using this. Wait, can you guys still see my screen? I don't know. Did I accidentally click out? Okay. I think I clicked out. Great. Okay. So, all right. So there is 4 basic data types that you'll see most commonly. So, for example, str is basically a string. A string is any variable or any value that is, alphabets, right? Characters and stuff like that. And you can tell what's a string by having a quotation. So make sure you're always doing either double quotation marks or single quotation marks whenever you're creating an object with that has a string data type, right? So that's how the code knows what's a string and what's not a string. So if I don't do that, let's do an example where I don't do that, right? So if I do print hello world, the code is going to assume that hello and world is like a variable or method or something else, right? So it's not going to recognize it. It's going to give me an error, right? See, because I could have a variable called hello and do print hello, and it's going to think, it's going to take that value over here, right? It's going to say 2. But if I did quotation marks, it's going to treat it as a string and it's going to print hello. So that's what a string data type is. Okay, so what's an int? Int is short for integer, and integer is any whole number. So 24, 25, 1,000, a million, any whole number you can think of comes under int. And then float is any decimal number. And a boolean or bool is true or false. So these are the 4 different types of data. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is how you do math with operators in Python. So addition is pretty simple actually. You're just using the plus sign. 5 plus 2, same thing with subtraction. 5 minus 2, you'd use the minus sign. And in multiplication, you're using the star, which is shift 8 on your keyboard. So that's how you tell the code to multiply. It's not X, it's not anything else. It's going to be the star symbol. Division is going to be the slash symbol. And floor division is going to be the double slash. Basically, it's going to just round the number, and that's what it means. And then modulus.
I don't know floor division.
Okay, it's just regular division, but you're rounding down. That's what it means. That's why it's called floor division, because you're rounding down to the floor. Okay.
Okay.
All right. And then this is modulus, which is basically the remainder of anything. You would use this percentage sign to get the remainder. So if you do 5 divided by 2, you would have a remainder of 1, and that's what you would use modulus for. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to do some practice with it. So go ahead and use some print functions and try out different types of operators. You guys can do that for maybe 2 minutes, and then we'll move on.
Whenever we are making a decision, we go to Square first. It's like a mothership for how we run a restaurant.
Square helps with a holistic approach to doing retail. We get it all.
Square has really shifted the game here.
I'm getting information.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is
supports the business in its entirety.
Get Square.
This is you, needing a therapist. And here's Headway, with over 65,000. Need a Spanish speaker who gets your quirky Chilean family? They're on Headway. An ADHD expert with New York vibes? They're on Headway. Someone who can treat your depression.
This is cryptic. What's the assignment? I forgot. And this is such a. What's the assignment?
Basically, you're just trying out different operators like addition, subtraction on the computer using print, okay? Yeah, go ahead, Vibe.
I put it in and I put like 5 plus 1 and it said 5 plus 1, like it didn't give 6.
Can you share your screen?
Wait, just a second.
You have to use the print to see.
Okay, so the reason it's doing that is because you put it in parentheses. Remember, if you do it in parentheses, it's going to recognize it as a string, not a integer. So remove the parentheses and try again. Not the parentheses, sorry, the quotation marks. Yeah, keep the parentheses there. My bad. And that should work now.
Okay.
All right, great. Yeah. You guys also try to do the remainder thing and get some practice with that.
So what's the remainder sign again?
It's the percentage sign. It's shift 5.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, one more minute and then we'll move on.
How do I use the remainder one?
Basically, you're just gonna put like any number between, and between those numbers, you're gonna put the percentage sign, which is shift 5. Yeah, and that's gonna give you whatever remainder is there.
Okay.
Okay, great. So is everyone done with? Okay. Okay, great. All right. We can move on. Can I do like square root? All right. Yeah. Okay. So I think I had a question. Square root. So square root is basically you do it by typing it in square root. So you have to actually import a function. Let me show you. Let me bring up my screen. So that was a good question. So if you want to do square root or anything like that, more advanced math functions, you're going to actually import in math. And when you import in math, it's going to use it from that library. And